Reporting live from Ibis Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Everything's about money, and everything's about attention, and everything's about fame.
Continuing our coverage on Michelle Obama being called a man during this weekend's UFC event, Freedom 250 at the White House, we now appear to have gotten Barack Obama's response to his wife being disrespected. As reported, the UFC and Donald Trump will host a night of UFC fights to celebrate the upcoming 250-year anniversary of the United States' independence. Though highly criticized by some, the event looks to have met many fans' expectations. Unfortunately, however, the night would receive a negative spotlight after fighter Josh Hockett would decide to take a moment after winning his fight to disrespect the former First Lady.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Since then, many on all sides of politics have spoken out against Hockett, who is not a comedian's comments made that night. The UFC's own Dana White would even publicly call it nonsense.
Are you curious as to why this man used his shining moment at Trump's White House to scream on national television that Michelle Obama is a man? And why do they call her a man in particular? That's a pretty odd insult for a group of people who don't believe in trans people, right? So why her, and why a man as an insult? Well, history has an answer for you. And let me tell you, it's one of the most powerful tropes ever used by white storytellers. The answer is coping mechanisms. History tells us that a way that white people have coped with the guilt of building the world's richest country on the back of a violent racial hierarchy is mythologizing black people into archetypes. Stay with me. So a good example of this you see in white movies written by white storytellers is this mythologized character of the mammy. She's a dark-skinned black woman who has devoted her life to the love and the care of black children. Her character does not blame white people for their history of oppression or their active maintaining of oppressions. And through resonating with her character on screen, white viewers can cope with their history and forgive themselves without ever having to engage with a black person in real life. Here's another trope of black women we see pop up during slavery and post-slavery. It's called the Jezebel trope. It depicts black women as hypersexual and incapable of being sexually satisfied and temptress. This allowed slave owners to cope with decades of rape, right? It wasn't that they were attracted to these black women, it's that these black women wanted it and they tempted them. Actually saw Vice President Harris get a lot of that Jezebel trope thrown on her from MAGA as she was running for president. But the most powerful coping mechanism, in my opinion, is the hyper-masculinization of black boys and black women to cope with the abhorrent torture they were putting black women through during slavery. Mind you, this is during a time period where it was believed women shouldn't lift a finger ever, but they're doing these torturous, horrible things to black women. To cope with it, you see in their literature, this narrative starts popping up, this hyper-masculinization of black women, that their torture is okay because these women can take it. They're not like regular, they're like men.
Now, on Tuesday, Barack and Michelle Obama would make their first public appearance together since the UFC night to address a room full of stakeholders of their newly built Obama Presidential Center located in their hometown of Southside Chicago. While speaking to the room, Michelle Obama would seemingly decide to not draw further attention to the disrespect she would just receive by focusing on the grand opening of their center. Now, when it came to Barack Obama to speak, he would appear to do the same, but as he would close out, some began to notice that his words looked to have been directed at Trump and Josh Hockett. It appears that Obama would first send Trump a subliminal message while expressing the love he would have for his late mother-in-law by saying she and her husband represented what's best about the country, not people who are trying to get every last nickel and who don't treat people with respect.
I love my mother-in-law, and she made a home for Michelle and Craig and her husband, Fraser Robinson. He showed what it means to work hard and to put family first. They represent, to me, what's best about this country. There are people who aren't trying to get every last nickel and aren't cutting corners when it comes to values and treat people high and low with respect and kindness. There are people like that all across the south side of Chicago. And there are people like that all across this great country of ours.
Now, as he would continue, is when some believe he was his most direct about Michelle being called a man just a few nights ago. For Obama, he would go on to express that he feels that there are institutions now that value things for money, attention, and fame, seemingly pointing out that Josh Hokett's reason for saying what he said about his wife may have just been pure attention, especially in our social media-driven society today.
We've got a set of institutions that have fallen victim to the siren song of everything's about money and everything's about attention and everything's about fame and everything's about getting over. But meanwhile, there are just a lot of people out here who are just doing the right thing and raising their families and taking care of people.
Now, the Obamas' response seems to represent why people love them, but can also be seen as one of their main critiques, is that they take the high road way too much when disrespect is staring them directly in the face. Let's not forget, however, Barack is no stranger with keeping people in check, as he would show many hecklers throughout his time in politics.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Listen, here's the deal. Here's the deal. If you support the other candidates, then you should go support the other candidates. Don't be here.
Now, it is unclear if the Obamas will ever fully address the moment, but Barack has seemingly criticized Trump's new Iran deal. During a recent interview with ABC News, Barack would express he's doubtful that Iran and the US will reach an agreement that will work better than the previous agreement that once was in place. Now, this comment from Barack may have gotten to Trump because earlier today, while speaking to reporters, Trump would ridicule Obama's previous Iran deal, saying that the Iranians called Obama stupid.
You know what the Iranians did? They laughed at Obama and they said he's a stupid son of a. If they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head. Okay? Because they've misbehaved for 47 years. Obama, he handed him $1.7 billion in cash, gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, gave him billions and billions of dollars. But he gave him $1.7 billion in cash, green cash from banks. He tried to bribe his way out. I didn't do that. Nobody mentions that. $1.7 billion and hundreds of millions of dollars. They tried to bribe their way out.
As far as the Obama Presidential Center, it is set to host its grand opening this Thursday, and according to the Obamas, will embody the jewels and essence they've learned along the way. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. How do you feel about Barack Obama's somewhat subtle response to Michelle Obama being called a man? Should he have been a bit more direct, or was this not the moment to highlight such disrespect? And for more news in comedy, culture, and sports, be sure to subscribe here to our YouTube channel and go ahead and follow Hype Plus across all social media. And if you enjoy content like this, head over to Hype's Club right now to get a membership to watch full interviews and more original content. And of course, if you have a story that you think we should cover, send us a message now at hypealerts.com. Reporting live from Hype's Club for Hype Plus News, I'm John Abba.